What's up, guys? All right, so now it's time to touch up on a little bit about what happened whenever I stopped at Target, okay? So, of course, we kept calling Target after Target after Target, and as you all know, we couldn't really get answers. We would get told this, we'd get told that, and a lot of you all reached out to me and asked while I was out at GameStop, while I was going to Walmart and Best Buy, when I was in Jackson, Tennessee, if I would stop at Target. So I went into Target, and of course, I probably should have never asked. That was my biggest mistake right there off the rip. I said, so am I allowed to vlog in here? Bam! Right off the rip, I got shut down. I should have just kept recording and didn't think nothing of it, but I can be honest, the lady was a little rude. But other than that, let's go ahead and dive into some of the questions that you guys kept asking me because you wanted me to see if I could find out from Target. Guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, become part of the Trippy Gang. Make sure you turn the notifications on because we want you to get notified whenever we go live or when we drop content. Also, just hit the arrow at the bottom. Share the information with somebody because why? I know there's somebody out there who's looking for information about Target. And you know what? This possibly could be the legit truth. But you know how it is. Every Target has a different answer. Drop a like on the video, guys, for good luck on grabbing your console. Guys, I'm Trippy Mel, and I went to Target, and guess what? You all asked me to find out a little bit about, do we know what time everything is going to, start online? Do we know how many they're going to have? Is every Target the same? I got all kinds of questions from you guys. So we'll start with the first one. I asked, do you know about how many you guys will have? And he went on to say, but first off, let me say this. The lady that I talked to first was super rude, didn't want me recording. But I went to the electronics section and I just so happened to run into a manager and an assistant manager. They both were standing in the back. They were in the process of doing I guess they're rearranging in the electronics section from the way I took it. Anyways, long story short, I went on, I played the dumb row as usual, and I was like, so did you guys have the PS5 in stock? That's kind of how I went with my story. But anyway, so that story led into a full conversation, and that's when I shot at it and took the chance on y'all's questions. I said, do you know how many y'all are going to have in stock then? And he said to me that store actually had 22 consoles, okay? And I was like, wow. So I went on to say, does that usually include the pre-orders and all of that? Is that how y'all are going to do it? Give the pre-orders theirs first and then you'll go on to do curbside pickup? He says absolutely no. He said the way that it works with Target, now I don't really know about this, but this was his answer, is that pre-orders that you guys already done from the last time, that was through a different warehouse as far as them shipping it out to you or, making sure it gets to wherever you guys are picking it up at. That had nothing to do with what they were actually receiving for launch day. Now, theirs had already came in. So he said, it was in the back. He was not expecting any more to come in. And he said, looking at it from a lot of traffic, that they usually get there whenever new things launch or like that when they have sales, he said it gets really overcrowded at Target. So that was the main reason why they shut the door and said, hey, curbside pickup as far as PS5, Xbox, etc. And I went on to tell him that I totally understood. He did tell me in his personal opinion, of course, COVID-19 had a lot to do with it. They didn't want crowds, everybody gathering around because there's too many people in one place when the virus, is a really big issue right now. But he also told me that in the area of Jackson, Tennessee, sometimes violence can be a problem. And I said, I could possibly see that, and he said, same thing goes for Memphis. And then I was like, yeah, I could definitely see that. So if you guys know anything about Memphis, Tennessee, you definitely understand where I'm coming from on saying I totally can see the violence. But he said that he felt like maybe politics stuff kind of played a role in on it, but he wasn't really sure. no, Sony is not sending any, out to be like, hey, can you guys just come over here and pick it up, and walk in for launch day. That will not happen, he said. They don't plan to get any extra. But he did tell me that I could expect the shelves probably to be stocking back up with consoles again closer to the holidays. He said, usually they go out of their way to try to make sure stuff like that is done. And kind of like I've said before, of course, they don't want to take a money loss. I mean, who does? Target doesn't want to lose money. Sony definitely doesn't. Microsoft really doesn't need to, partnering up with GameStop. I mean, they got to hold them down some way, right, guys? Anyway, so he said it's just kind of a mixture of everything, but he doesn't know like the full legit thing besides COVID-19. I went to ask him about what about this memo that you guys posted? And he said that it went out for the employees, and this is exactly what's going to be done, and this was sent out so their employees would know how to run things. If a line does form outside, guys, you will be asked pretty much to leave. It's not going to do you any good to, stay there. You can drive down the road, make sure you grab one online whenever it happens. And, of course, come back up there and pick it up. So I asked, is there a 4-hour waiting period? He said no, but don't just order it and automatically, rush down there really fast, because please give them time, to actually get everyone's orders together, because this is going to be a big issue. So he said he would wait at least 30 minutes to an hour before you actually came to the store. Now, guys, let's keep it real. We all know that you guys are not waiting 30 minutes to an hour before you go, but I'm just telling you what he said. But once again, there is no camping at Target. It is curbside pickup. He said to, be careful, because bots do like to target the Target app, or website. But he said that he felt like that you could get on the app and it would possibly be a little bit safer for you guys. So get on the app, stay prepared, log in. And I asked, do you feel it's best to go ahead and have your, bank information stored? He said yes, most definitely. Get your bank information stored in there. That way, you'll be ready to go when you're ready to go and everything pops off. So finally, I got down to the whole nitty gritty of, some people says that they pre-ordered with, Target, and they're still showing that their stuff is pending, or they're showing that, what I'm saying, like pretty much they're preparing for orders, but nobody has got a confirmation that it's been, shipped, or whatever the case may be. And he said, since it's, a weekend, you could possibly see that coming up this week, but no worries on it, because he said, as far as in like the Xbox, if you were having it come to a store and you didn't ask for different arrangements, it's pretty much already there, especially on the Xbox part. And he said, if not, then, he don't know what store isn't, but if there's any stores that it has not arrived yet, then possibly tomorrow or Tuesday, the shipment would be in for PS5. But he was really, just by the look on his face, was Target's already had them in. And we've seen a lot of videos. We've seen a lot of pictures. So we kind of know that Target already does have them pretty much. All right. So I went on to ask, I said, you know what? I was honest with him. Hey, I do YouTube. And you know what? Got a lot of questions. So, and he was super nice. He was ready to answer the questions for me. He was a younger guy. I would probably say like mid 30s, late 30s. And he and the assistant manager both was there. She was super nice. And she was the one kind of giving me information. She's like, tell your friends don't show up. Please don't camp. But hey, pay attention to the phones, the website, all of that. And just be prepared. And she even went out of her way to suggest, tell them to get family members to help them out, just to be on the safe side. Wow. You really don't hear that a lot, guys. But they had no headsets in stock. And they had a few cameras in stock, got a few controllers. They had more controllers than anything. And I only saw a couple of media remotes. I asked when would the headset be back in. He said he did not know, but if he had to guess, he would say that they would be back in before the Christmas holidays. But he said he did not know that for sure, because the 3D headset, the moment that they enter, they leave like the same time. He said he can't keep them. So he only ended up with 4, and they were gone like that, he said, from the moment that they were eligible to be released. And anyways, I went on. This is the last question we're going to discuss. And I went on to say, when do you think sales will start online for launch day? And right off the rip, he didn't hesitate, and he said, Usually sales start at midnight. And I said, okay. So I was like, what do you mean as far as midnight? And he said that, their main headquarters, which is on Eastern time, the main headquarters always start, at midnight. So I was like, okay, everybody can start watching at midnight. And he's like, no, 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 no. He said, so the main headquarters, they start releasing information for sales for the, stores, getting everything prepared. They open up, like, I guess, the websites and allow you to get in, and they release the sales. And he said it usually, before it actually hits the stores, it allows the stores apps to open up for you guys to purchase, is usually around 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, whatever time zone you're on, try to round it. Do the math. You guys know how to figure that out. You know what time zone you're on. So just kind of look at it from that. But this was based off of Eastern time, okay? Now, keep in mind, we were on Central time. So he was speaking that they were an hour ahead as far as at the main headquarters. But he did say that, once it opens up, you would definitely know. He suggested staying up all night. He did say that to me. Said the night before, which would be the 11th for PS5, the night before, he says stay up and start watching around 11 o'clock. Now, they're not just going to kick off at 11, but he's giving you an idea to start watching at 11 p.m., okay? And then, as you know, the clock strikes 12 a.m. and it becomes the 12th. Now, I'm not telling you 10,000% that everything's going to kick off at 12 a.m. That's not what I'm saying. I'm telling you to start watching, because headquarters, you'll know right then, headquarters is preparing for everything to pop off. He said that usually he has never seen it go past 2 a.m. So I went to mention that I went to a live chat party, with Target, whatever they're called. And I was like, the lady on there told me 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. He gave me the weird look, and he said, well, I don't know where that information came from. Any other time that we release items online, it's always been that headquarters start at midnight and sales usually start around 2 a.m. Eastern time. He said, unless there's something that he was not aware of, he doesn't know where 6 a.m. Central Standard Time even started. So, like I said, and he's on Central Time himself. But we don't know, 100%, a time. But we do know around 11 p.m. the night before, which is the 11th. Please pay attention. And also on the 9th, for Xbox, start paying attention for that as well. Guys, I also had somebody to ask me to make a video on PS5 digital PS5s. I think I just said that twice. Anyways, I'm not really sure what kind of video you guys are wanting on the digital versions of the PS5. I do know this much. It has been talked about that Target would have digital. It has been talked about that Best Buy would have digital. But we never got a 100% guarantee that anyone would have, complete digital, okay? So right now, I really don't have information on that. I can do my best to check into it, but launch day will probably be here before we ever get a final answer on who has, the exact digital console. I would say that I know it's very expensive, but if there's a way to kind of round up the money between now and the 12th of launch day, that would probably be the best, opportunity for you guys. Once again, for the ones that keep asking about, I only have cash, how do I buy it offline? You could possibly go to Kroger, Walmart, one of your major retailers like that, or like a local gas station that sells gift cards. You could get a Visa prepaid debit card, load the money on there. They'll send you the original one in the mail with your name on it, and it'll cost you $4 or $5, to load it. And, you could possibly use that. Go ahead and enter it online, be prepared. Or you could just go ahead and buy a Target card. Now, keep in mind, if you don't luck up, you're stuck with a Target card, as we all know, with a large amount of money on it. or you could, do the Visa debit card, take it to an ATM machine and get as much as possible off of it. So that's just kind of an idea coming from my head on what you could do, or ask a family member, can I give you cash and you use your debit card, or possibly a friend. Right now, like, I'm just kind of like, wow, out of answers. I don't really know what to say about that. I know it's a tough situation when you don't have a bank card or a credit card. Like, life is hard. Because it's already too late to, I guess, run and open up a bank account. So I don't really know what to say. Some more things. I made a video about the solid state drive, the the HHD drive, which is right here, or I mean the HDD. I don't know why I said HHD. The HDD drive, guys. So the whole point of the video was, which I know, like I've said 10,000 times before, like my words get totally just way out of the ordinary. So what I was meaning by it was, I know that all features have been disabled for solid state drives, internal, external, for the PS5. So my point of this was that if you don't want all that garbage, loaded over onto you, you know how you can just hook up, like, hey, transfer everything from my PS4 over to my PS5. You could possibly, if there was games that you wanted to save until you could see what Sony was actually going to do when they do release their solid state drives, it is possible that, if there's some of the games that you want to clear out and you don't want them to all go over, so the stuff that you don't want to transfer over but you would like to save, you could possibly save it on, either this one, or you could possibly save it on this, and then whatever's left on the PS4, transfer it straight over to the PS5, when time comes. And then if there's any hope, you could actually go back and possibly later on do something about the stuff you saved on here. It wasn't a guarantee. That's why in the description it said, is it possible that it would work? Because we don't know. Those are just ideas. And as far as the other Samsung card, that's why I said we don't know that it would work. But if it ever comes down to it, and I'm sure soon or later, Sony's going to make it to where pretty much, we'll go back to using solid state drive. Is it going to be slow? Absolutely. Why? Because that machine is so much faster. So I didn't mean anything by it. Like, some people, y'all just get in an uproar over nothing, but there's too many negative people in the world. That's what the problem is. Anyways, so the channel's not about anybody knowing anything. The channel's about trying to help people. Everybody will ask me questions, and I just give the best advice that I can, to whether, it's information that has been given to me, and of course, I shared it with someone else. It wasn't like, hey, I know this for 100% fact. So guys, stop taking everything so personal in life, okay? Anyways, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Guys, remember, you can now grab the membership for the Trippy Mail family. All you got to do is you can choose which one you want. You can do the $9.99. You can do the $4.99, or you can do the $1.99. I want to give a big shout out to Killa for actually hitting the $9.99 monthly membership. That really means a lot to the Trippy family. Guys, we are just very humbled, very blessed, and very thankful for people like you, Killa. Thank you so much, and I hope more of you guys actually consider grabbing that membership out there. There's 3 different ones, like I said. And hey, right along the journey with the Trippy family, because we got a lot in store. I love each and every one of you guys. And hey, I'll see you all very soon. Smack that like button, baby. Let's go. Peace out.